Hey there. How you doing? Welcome, welcome. I'm showing you something kind of cool. Welcome, welcome. Let me send word. I'm going to let actually people on Facebook know really quickly. So let me copy the link over here. Welcome. My name is John Limcool. This is a special Sunday live stream. I was busy yesterday at a Portland synth event. They've done these in a couple different cities, I guess, and they were doing one. Let me say live stream. Oh wait, I can't spell free. March. All right, so let me copy that. And let me go over here to Plugin Guru and post this here too. So I have both my personal page on Facebook and the Plugin Guru page saying, hey, there's a live stream happening. So welcome. Oh, and it actually updated and has the actual thumbnail. How nice. So cool. So welcome. I am thrilled to be showing you something that just basically came out of the oven literally like 15, 20 minutes ago. We're working on a library. I have two libraries to show you today, actually. Two libraries in the works. One that's going to be out pretty soon, and it will come with a really cool handful of really cool new features for UNIFY that won't really be explored that much in the patches because the factory patches aren't going into this, but we have a library coming out that is going to dive deep into these new features that are inside of this update. But I want to show you what we have coming because it's pretty darn crazy cool. Hey, Tim, Philip, Luis, welcome from Spain. Wow, how cool. Failed on the Beat is in. You're in here, bro. So UNIFY is about, we're not sure what version it's going to be called. We're showing right now it's at 1.1, 1.0.10, but by the time that we get done with updates and beta testers working with it, it will be in a higher number, I believe, than that. But this is so cool. We have two libraries, like I said. One is Black and Blue, which is a tongue drum. The actual notes are only like right here. Those are the notes that I actually sampled. It's this guy right here. Let me see, I can play it if I can get a stick over here. See how talented my... So high C. So this is, do I go all the way down to C? Yeah, down to C. And then A or G. Right? So I've sampled all of those notes. And then thanks to sampling that bottom sample. But there's a cool thing in a feature I'm going to show you in a minute. It's really cool. Now, on top of that, that's the open tone. We also have it taped, or what I call muted here. And that's the same drum, but it's 4 velocities, so right? Then I added reverb to make mega magic. That vibe is still great, and this drum works great for that. I made radio version, which has a cool... I even made a keyboard out of that, so you get... So these are coming for the tongue drum library called Black and Blue, but because these sounds lend themselves to the hip-hop vibe, which I love so much, we have some pretty crazy new features coming to UNIFY. One of them being, say, new MIDI effect. Check this out. We now have, and you don't have this yet. This is coming later this month in our what we're calling our March MIDI Madness update. As you can see, we have a sequencer, which is the MIDI box. MIDI box is a MIDI file player, and it follows along with the clock of your sequencer. And if I just go like this and connect it to this, I need to now say load. And inside of the library's Black and Blue folder, I have a MIDI file folder. I could say melody. Now it's playing a MIDI file. Pretty cool. And if I want, I could say no, go to another MIDI file. Right? Well, if I change this to be a drum kit, let's see, Guru Sampler, go to drum kit. And then go over here and load. And let's get out of here to the MIDI files. I have a drum kit, just one right now. Now, I made a special kit for this library for hip hop. So if we go over here to Black and Blue, to the hip hop drum kit, we have I'm not done making this kit. I want to make some more, but it's got the right vibe. Nice and filtered and dirty and cool stuff like that, right? Well, check this out. Another new MIDI effect, and this is a first. Nobody's done one of these before that I know of. Is over here in Creative, we have Jitterbox. It's random timing offsets. So you can subtly humanize something. So all the MIDI files in the world that are so perfectly quantized, you can now humanize. Sequence lines and chord lines that are all perfect timing, you can break up. You can do all sorts of crazy things with this. Check this out. I have another example I can show you. This is called bad timing. This is where I have Jitterbox on a piano. And normally, if we show the keys, right? So you can see. Let me just play that and bring this up. It's random notes per note for every note. So you can go to crazy lengths. The other thing that's really cool is not only can you randomize the timing, you can shift the whole thing to be later. So that now it's all. So let me show you this in a cool way. I've got it later with the piano. So I have up to 150 milliseconds. We're going to put a little button here so you can go right here and say 16th note, 8th note, 5 note. I don't know how far we'll make it, but we'll make it MIDI timing as well and longer delays so you can play something and have other layers, other notes that we'll be able to play. It's insane. It's really, really cool. And that groove that I was playing when we started this, Let's see if I go over here and say BPM split. So this is using 3 MIDI files, 2 of them going into Jitterbox. Let me see the comments. Hopefully you guys are all excited about this. Will this a new library be available for previous purchase of UNIFY as a separate expansion? Yeah, this will be a library that you'll be able to buy, which will have patches using these new features, right? And so check this out. So if you listen just to the snare, there's 2 parts being used in the snare. There's a drum groove. And then I have over here, I have all of these sounds that were like, when I was moving tape and clicking on, when I made the samples of the actual tongue drums, there were all these outtakes. And so I mapped up across the keyboards for really cool, all these. Let's see if I go like this. I should be hearing this. Why are you not calling up? Oh, I think I renamed these things to something so it got them confused. So all of these. There'll be unbelievably cool MIDI files I'm going to be making for this that will come with this library for all sorts of styles beyond just hip hop. But it's like, this is boom, chill, hip hop, down tempo, all that kind of stuff. Well, I took those guys, right? And I just made a MIDI file of playing 2 and 4 notes like that, right? So in this groove, let's see, get the sequence going again. The drums are here, and then this little, right? And this is going through a jitterbox to mess up the timing. So I'm gonna play it, just the groove, right? So listen closely. I'm gonna take off jitterbox and listen how boring it becomes. And it's random every time. So those 4 snares, you know, there's videos on YouTube about techniques of how to, like, let's layer 5 different sounds and then offset them so that they're different timing values. And then it's that same timing value every time it comes to that timing event. And so it still sounds repetitive and horrible. This is truly random. Every time you play timing events, it's random. And you can say how much random you want. Now watch this. I'm going to go over and turn on the click. And let's do this. I'm gonna actually make one more track of UNIFY so you can hear this, because it's so cool. Let's go over and say drum kit. And layer, replace, groove sampler. So I just have another UNIFY here, right? I'm gonna play a hi-hat part. I'm going to quantize it, right? I'm going to turn off click. So I have this instead of a click, but check this out. So I have a jitterbox on the drum groove. I'm going to shift the whole drum groove later. You can find these cool places. So the whole MIDI drum groove is later than the hi-hats by 56 milliseconds. And I still can randomize this to have it broken, delayed, and random timing. So jitterbox, nobody's ever made it an effect that I know of like this before, where you won't believe it. I'll have some things where you play on the keyboard. And if I go like this and turn this off, it's actually, So you can get all these lazy, broken, kind of like hip-hoppy, dirty things going on that just by playing real time. The reason I did this is because arpeggiators are perfect timing. You don't have the ability to get any slop or any human out of an arpeggiator. Now you do. So this will be a free update that will have Jitterbox. It will have a MIDI file player, and it has another mind-blowing, cool effect, MIDI effect coming. For this one, let's use this. Let's go MIDI effect. New MIDI effect layer. Check this out. Are you ready? Are you ready? So I'll preface it this way. Shane, God bless Shane. Everybody, mad props to Shane. Everybody give mad props to Shane. Shane, you rock. So Shane, when we shipped UNIFY 1.0, it came with a file converter to load in ripcord presets. There's a MIDI effect to do chord things called ripcord. C-H-O-R MIDI. This guy right here. And you can still go play with this. But I didn't know it at the time. But in order for the ripcord player that Shane made, he basically had to make that effect so that it could read the presets from ripcord and then take that preset information and make it work. So he basically built ripcord but only put a player interface on it of just loading a preset. Well, the lovely guys at Ripcord, that company, they've updated Ripcord. This is a silly question, but could one create a full piece of music with UNIFY? Absolutely, especially with MIDI files. Now you'll be able to load in complete MIDI file performances that you play live to that can do things, crazy things, amazing things. So yes, I mean, we're giving you the tools so that you can do whatever your cute little brains decide you want to do with music in an expressive way. We're trying to make this kind of this central, it's crazy. But anyway, he basically made the ripcord plugin, but only put a load preset. They released a new version of ripcord, and it's like, you know, they're going to keep releasing updates. And in order for Shane to make something for that update, he had to reprogram our chord player to be more complex because it adds timing and all sorts of stuff. So he's like, you know, I'm going to still be able to read ripcord presets, even if they're version 2. Oh, wait, that's power chords. We're not there yet. So yes, there's more than just one. So Chordbox is what we have now created, which is taking the ripcord concept and blowing it up to our own place where we can play a note, say click to edit a chord, and we don't have this set quite right, but you'll be able to, in the future, you'll be able to play a chord and it record it. It's not doing that yet, but you can play a note, play edit, and then play the note you want it to play. And then when you turn this off, now we just need to route this to MIDI. And then we want to go to this note, and we want to go to this chord. So we will make, it's not ready for prime time yet. We're still in development. This is stuff that Shane and I haven't really talked about how to implement, but we will get there. But you can make each note have its own chord, and then there's strum. So this is coming. We have another one that Shane developed in the last 24 hours, I think, I didn't even know he was doing this. He goes, I got something else, power chords. And we might be merging these into the chord box concept. It might be a separate effect. This is brand new, like just out of the box. What this does is this is 6 different notes that you can set it to whatever notes you want, and now then, this is what's so fun. Go here to Creative, add Jitterbox, give it a little bit of random timing. And play chords that are all broken up. You'll hear this on the radio in no time because it's so cool. Because what's cool about this, these are MIDI effects, which means if I don't want to use these sounds, I could go to any synthesizer in my whole library. I could use Serum, I could go to anything. I could go to Zebra 2, find some sort of cool little percussive-y little, let's see if we go to Perkers or I think I have in the Toxic, I think I had some plucks and stuff up here, right? So you can do chords with Powerbox and Jitterbox. So broken timing, random timing, cool things. Again, this will shift the timing to be later. This is all going to be available to any plugin you own. Only in UNIFY. It's only going to be in this environment to start with. We might make these as a separate plugin. Autotomy, please. If we could get the scales from that. Okay, this is why we're showing this. Oh, cool, Michael. I am so glad to hear that. Yes, this is dexterity for people that don't have dexterity. It's cool for random timing things. It's cool for the ability. We have no idea of the places this can be used, but we want to show this. We want to get feedback from you guys. If you have ideas, reactions, questions, we're doing this for our community, for you guys. We want to make the coolest freaking plugin on the planet because it lets you do more with all your other cool freaking plugins. So, right? So, Michael, that makes me like have goose pimples to be so happy that this can help you. And I didn't even think about handicapped people that don't have the ability to play big chords for different physical reasons. That's so awesome, bro. So, yeah. It can do all that kind of stuff. On top of this, there's another thing I want to show you. Let's see. Let's have this one go away. Other requests customers have given us have led to where Shane has now expanded the MIDI filter. So we can suppress pitch bend. Oh, okay. All you have to do is click one of these and say MIDI CC1, and now you're suppressing MIDI CC1. But you can now MIDI suppress 6 different MIDI CCs in your patch, as well as sustain, pitch bend, and aftertouch bypass, because some keyboards do aftertouch and you don't want it to have aftertouch. So you can do that now inside of MIDI filter. Another cool feature that we have added that I'm really excited about. So let's open up one of these, like here. This has a lot of samples to it. Let's use the Forte one, right? So one thing that we've added that I requested from Shane is that we now have in Guru Sampler a map selection option, which I can now look at all of the samples in a map and choose just one to play across the entire keyboard. If I choose one of these, and the reason for this is often when you're sampling things like these percussive instruments that have, each time I play this, even with a mallet, every time you play it, the attack is different. Even the same note at the same supposed velocity and so forth, it's different. And when you play it uniform across the keyboard, it sounds very different than when you're different. And now you can choose any of these, because the main reason I asked for this is I started making separate patches that each one, the ones that have the Mega Magic reverb, these are unique, and this has this really cool ambience in them, right? But these, I started making like each one of these fortes had like 5 different SFZ sample maps for each of the samples that I liked. And I was like, dude, I want to have access to all of them. And so we now have, so we can, every sample has a different personality. And they're so cool for so many styles. So that ability is really cool. It also lets you do such things as go to a drum kit, like the hip hop drum kit that I've made. Right? This is where we're at so far. I have access to all the samples, so I can just choose one. And now that clap is across the entire keyboard. Or we all know different genres where they... Now you can do that kind of stuff with a single drum sample. So it's really cool. The next update will have this ability to select just one sample, or right? So that's really exciting stuff. Another thing coming in the update, Shane worked his little tail end off and solved the e-licenser iLock issues. So Sound Toys, native Steinberg plugins are recognized by our scanner now. Yay. We're fixing some other small little crashes here and there, issues, and so forth. So this is going to be March Madness update. It will be coming. I think we need another week or two to decide, combine things. I'm going to work on my library and try to get Black and Blue ready to come out at the same time as this library, or as close as I can. But there's another library that's going to actually come out before this one, because it's not using any of these new features. Hey, Safe, welcome. This is the sort of thing the Guru Nation could do collectively. Yeah. Yes, for those, we've had a number of people popping back up the question of AAX support, and that is definitely something. But what if one is not adept at playing a keyboard? Is it good for drawing in notes and chords on a piano roll? That's something you can do in your DAW. You can do that already in your DAW. The other thing you can do is we now open up the world of MIDI files, and there are, tons of MIDIs. You can buy MIDI files on all sorts of different websites for different genres of music, and you put that into something, and I'm not going to show that right now, but I have literally thousands of MIDI files on my computer that you just load up, and now you have a cool type of thing going on. Oh, cool. Let's turn off notifications, please. But I want to show you the next library that we'll be releasing that is coming along very nicely and is mind-blowing, truly mind-blowing. And at this point, I'll also show you another feature that is found right here. But let me show you something. This, our dear friend Airwave is a mad scientist with this stuff and has created a library. This is our first library that will require you to own another plugin. It will require you to own Spire from Xfer Records, because it is such a great synthesizer. On the sonic quality of synthesis, I don't think there's anything that compares to what you can achieve sonically with Spire, or with SERUM. Sorry, I said Spire. SERUM. Xfer Records SERUM. We have another library in the works for Spire that will be coming out. that is equally incredible. Airwave used SERUM, and you need to also own SERUM effects. As you'll see as I load one of these, it's using Pump House and SERUM effects to play. This is one using 5 MIDI effects, as well as all the parameters. It's insane. This is all SERUM. And check this out. We have a new feature called CPU meters. And you can see how little CPU we are using on each of the processor threads that are working to play this. MIDI effects don't even show up. So you can now study and see who's really pushing your CPUs. So, get ready to jam your butt off. You guys should all have your jaws dropped at this point. I hope you're like all like, oh my God. So, yes. So cool. So cool. Listen to this kick. This kick. It's all SERUM. There it is. Just insanely beautiful. So this is just one. I've just been playing this whole time on one patch. All of these are BPM split. There's BPM pads, things that do. Now this one's hitting my processor a little hard. We're doing some things to improve when you open like plugins. That's really nice. Observatory. CPU thingy will be coming in the next update. It's right here. You can toggle the CPU view. This is not available in the current version of UNIFY. By the way, this update will come after our sale has ended, UNIFY's retail is $79. We made it $59 for the first 2 months-ish, plus or minus. We needed to add a little bit more to the sale time just because Ilio just got UNIFY to sell to their channels. Be aware, if you buy UNIFY anywhere other than pluginguru.com, you go to that website for support. If you need to get your license number, if you need to get the updates, when the updates come out, you can log into the pluginguru.com website if you've bought it from us. When this update comes out, if you bought it from Time and Space, where UNIFY is now available, go back to Time and Space. I can't get you the update. You'll have to get it from where you bought it. Okay? Some of those sites, they will discount. I'm not going to discount UNIFY because we worked super hard and we would like to earn what we think we deserve to be paid for this. And we're not car salesmen. But other websites, they don't care about their profits, and they don't have bills, I guess, or I don't know what, but they will discount. We're not discounting UNIFY. So there's a difference. If you buy it from us, you can log into the pluginguru.com website to download updates. If you buy UNIFY somewhere else, you go to the website that you bought UNIFY from, they will have the updates. We'll coordinate with Ilio, who's distributing to all these other companies. They have their own licensing network. They will take care of the updates. They will release them on the same dates that we do. We'll coordinate it all up. But just be aware, you can't come to me and say, give me the update if you didn't buy it from my website. I can't give it to you. It's not possible. Let me show you a couple other things that are cool. So these BPM splits, they're insane. Okay. By the way, check this out. This is pretty cool. He did a thing where when you move this filter cutoff, it actually goes down and then up. So when you're playing this, it goes down. But the resting point is not at that down position. I thought that was really a cool idea. To have, it's like, here's where it normally needs to be, but as soon as you move this mod wheel, it starts to go down and then it starts to grow. So we can do multiple breakpoint things. It's a really cool example of what the breakpoints are for. When is there is no pro version yet. There was in the version you guys currently have. I believe if you go here, it shows you a pro version. That was an error on our part. We're sorry for that. We have to make the pro version, but we're busy adding features to UNIFY. And the pro version, we have all sorts of plans for that. That will be totally worth what pro will be. But we're not going to talk about that because it doesn't exist. We don't have code for that or anything. Here's a couple other examples. The sound quality. Just listen to the sound. If you are a lover of like deep, pure, incredible synthesis, crazy. And again, you can play it. It's so much fun to play with these. And I have the rim shot. Play with that. So there's stuff you can do like that. It's pretty cool. Hey, Airwave's here. Laurent, my brother. This is incredible. Yes, the cool thing about this is not a loop. Check this out. This is what's fun. Actually, let's have this playing so it's even tight. It's synthesis. I set up this pad gator. Laurent, you haven't even seen this. Check this out. This is so cool. So you can start with a pad. As you bring this up, it just clamps down. If I can do this. But the sound, listen to that sound, just close your eyes. When you hear this in your studio, you will get goose pimples. I promise. It is like, it's pure crack, my friends. This is just unbelievably beautiful stuff. And on top of this, check this out. So there's some really fun things you can do. I'm going to give you guys a tip that's really fun. If you make an initialized UNIFY, go init. Then go over here to the layer presets. I don't think I have a layer. Oh, I do have. So if you go save layer preset and you make at the instrument layers at this top level, you make something with a space at the beginning of the name and then empty UNIFY as the patch name or UNIFY, whatever you want to name it. You can name it whatever you want. By doing that, that lets you do some really cool things. So on top of this, you can see all these BPM drum patches that come with UNIFY. These are all SERUM patches with the MIDI effects giving you a kick drum, right? Now go over to layer and go to add instrument, and right here at the very top next to empty layer is an empty UNIFY layer preset. So I can now open up UNIFY inside of UNIFY. I can go back to the melodic techno library and I can go down here and now I want to find a cool hi-hat pattern. And I'm going to do 120 beats per minute. All sorts of, I like that. Now let's go over here and say layer empty UNIFY again. And you can keep growing and using all of these patches together inside of one UNIFY. You can have as many as you want going. And this one I want to take and transpose it down an octave, let's say. So down -12. You could even open up SERUM and then edit to go to the filter. It's got this filter shape to it, which is happening because of an LFO. So LFO 4? Yeah, so you just change this. He's using an LFO as an envelope shape. See how tight that is? It's insane. You need to know where the click is. So this is one C chain. I have to go here, hit K. 1, 2. It's pure synthesis with tons of patches. I think, let's see here. The shortcut to do this, say reveal in Finder, and we will see that, let's hit cancel and go over here. And we have 216 patches, my friends, inside of this library. So this will be coming out at the time that we probably release this update, or they're about the same time that we release this patch update, we will release this library. And then shortly after that, we'll release Black and Blue, so the hip hop, other types of vibes. So you have a trance techno library and a hip hop library, urban, chill, down tempo. We'll make all sorts of stuff for that coming out about the same time. So I'm super excited with this library. Let me show you some other patches that are really cool in here. There's cool chords, so you can cool chords. And again, I have this. Oh, when you get this library, I'm going to point it out now because I need to point it out a lot. Under global, there is a setting right here that says silence, note, and effect tails when the host transport stops. That's by default turned on. You need to turn it off. And because you do that, you click the little disk icon up here to save this into your settings. UNIFY does the thing where we're running with Logic's clock right now, but if Logic's clock was not running, and if I had this on, it immediately stops the tails. And that's because MIDI quick stop is being used. See, it just stopped. Because we stopped the clock with this method. So you want to turn this off, so it's silence. Save it into your settings. And now it doesn't cut it off. Unless you hit when the volume's down in this bottom part. So that is a setting that's on by default. And so we're going to have it like in big text at the very top that you want to make sure that you turn that off when you're playing this library outside of your clock running. If your clock is not running and UNIFY plays to its internal clock, you might notice that problem. Okay. And every one of these I call up, I immediately want to go empty UNIFY. And what's kind of fun is if you want, you could set up, go browse and say, go to the Airwave library, BPM kick. Ooh. Wow. Wow. Wow, that is just too insane. Okay, so let's go over here, have another UNIFY. And there's other patches and stuff in here. Check this out. If you scroll down here to some of the other BPM stuff, there's BPM beats like this, where it's so cool. Or Shred Chaos Mayhem. Or Simple Acid. And again, it controls all the UNIFY layers. So it's the places you can go with this library are going to be really exciting if you are into any of the dance genres and stuff. These are all synthetic claps. That will clean out your earwax. Hats, snares. We'll do a full patch walkthrough when the library comes out. That's a cool beat, dude. Cool. Simple rim shots. Is it wrong to be into EDM at 60? No, it's not. Keeps your blood running, man. I mean, and you might go, how would that work? It sounds like the timing's off a little bit, but check this out. This is the genius of some of the timing stuff Airwave loves to do. So let's go to melodic techno, go down here, get that big kick going, and watch what happens. Kick. And I want to hear the click for just for a second to know where 1 is, because so yeah, it all works really nice. So you have all these different techno vibes. All sorts of stuff. So this library, even to the stabs and leads, and I will tell you this library, we're going to include it with these patches for SERUM as a separate bonus. I'm a little hesitant to do that because those will immediately show up on torrent sites because they're not protected. They're like every other file from everybody else. This library in UNIFY, however, will be protected. It has a license attached to it. If you don't have the license, it's gobbledygook that you can't use because each library that we release for UNIFY, we can protect. So we can protect all this stuff that Airwave has done. He even has these menus where if you see across the keyboard, all the 8 claps, all the kicks are available as a menu. So you can just push this and so these patches in UNIFY are protected, but the patches that will be in the SERUM folder, please don't pass them out. Don't give them to people, please. Just don't do it. Just say, look, somebody worked their ass off to make this, and they deserve to be paid for this work. This is incredible work. This takes SERUM to a sonic place I haven't heard from other libraries in this genre, especially. And so don't give these away. Say, look, it's only like $39, dude. Go buy it. Come on. Don't try to steal everything. Because he's worked for weeks and weeks on this to get this to this point, and it's just call one of these up and you just want to start writing. It's called the CPU meters. Right? So it's a really cool library. So we have both cool libraries in the works. We have a cool update for UNIFY itself in the works. I hope you guys are excited. These are all free things that we add to make UNIFY even better, and it's free. The one request I have, if you buy these, if you get these updates and you're like, oh man, thank you for these updates, please buy the libraries. That's how we make future income after you've bought UNIFY, so we can keep doing this. Buy these libraries. Support us that way. That would be very much appreciated. You get new patches and benefits and things that are showing off new features, all sorts of stuff. And we get to continue paying our bills and developing UNIFY. We have all sorts of places. We were just barely tapping the surface of where we want to go. So there you go. All right. Yes, Ken, we're playing around. Library is called, as you can see, Airwave Melodic Techno Volume 1. We hope that there will be Volume 2 and other genres that Airwave is the master in, he can work on. It's going to be a great library. So expect that probably in the next 2 weeks, and probably in 3 weeks we'll have the Black and Blue library out. All right, any questions? Recording MIDI effects. I guess the easiest thing would be to be able to sell them separately so they could be used. Yeah, we might make our MIDI effects available for outside of UNIFY in the future, but to start with, probably for at least 6 months, it's exclusive just to UNIFY. These are benefits that make UNIFY really, really cool. And so we want people to come to UNIFY to use these effects. You can run any plugin through it to use these effects. Yes. Well, so if you don't have SERUM, you can't buy you don't buy this one, because this library is 100% requiring SERUM and the SERUM effects, which is a free download if you own SERUM. If you don't have it, you should definitely get it. It's a super cool benefit that they made. Let me see. These aren't. Oh, here we go. Here's SERUM effects, and it's just basically putting audio inputs onto SERUM so that you could run the basic audio. These are all turned off as far as the oscillators go, so you can use the effects, and you can turn on these effects. The compressor inside of SERUM has the OTT ability. If you click the little multiband, that enables OTT, which is a free MIDI effect you can audio effect. It's a free audio effect you can download from the X4 Records website. If you type into the Google X4 Records free plugins, you'll go to a special kind of hidden page. It's not advertised, that has some just crazy tools that most of your top dance DJs know about and use on a regular basis. And they're available for free, including OTT, which is the over-the-top compressor. It will totally change. I could take, let's take this. Let's make something that's got a groove, just to check you out what this does, right? So I think Klaus, that's a big in-your-face one. Let's do this one. If you're not familiar with OTT, let's go over here to All Audio Effects, X4 Records, OTT. It gives you control Here's without it. Here's with it. And here's without it bypass. So it can hyper even an entire mix. And it's really cool on synth sounds. It can totally change the character of just a synth lead. Do some really cool things. Drag the black bars in the center bands of OTT. Oh. Oh, right. Yeah, you can drag here. Because it's multi-band compression. That's right. Thank you. Then you can really get over the top. So here's really pushing it, right? Compared to... So it's pretty amazing that it's a free plugin of this type. I won't say every, but this is used very heavily, as much as maybe the LFO tool in dance music, to just bring this hyper mix vibe. That's without it. Makes the original sound like, oh, you should have it with that, man. Right? So be aware of that. Be aware of those tools. Be aware SERUM comes with its SERUM effects, which can do similar things. I don't know the compressor. If you turn this on, I don't think... Oh, you do. Yeah, you do have OTT. So you... Hear how it changes the character so much? So yeah, it is there. So that is a pretty cool thing to have available to you with SERUM. Now, the Black and Blue library that I am working on for hip hop, chill, all that kind of stuff with all the tongue drums, these are new samples. You don't need any new plugins other than UNIFY. This will use just patches and samples that are inside. This is one of the reasons why with Guru Sampler, I wanted to have the standard library of UNIFY. I have access to all of these samples from guitars, pads, viola, violin, cello, even Signs of Life, to combine with whatever libraries I bring out in the future. So I can take this and I can very easily say, give me another layer of something like a really cool pad. Let's say like this pad. And then quickly go, no, I wanted to go to Signs of Life and go to like the violin reigns or something like that. These different, like... Then turn this down. So if we wanted to build something, I'll show you how fun it is, because I'm going to build like 30 of these. So let's build one together. I'm going to take, and I'm going to save this. Let's call this BPM, maybe pad. When it has a fast attack, I go into synth, but we'll call it split. So I'll probably have a bass on this. It's called the Blessed Rains. And I'm going to save it to Black and Blue. Save. So save. I'll fill in the details later. But I want to go up to check this out. So I'm going to go up. I don't even think I have yet. I have these drum kits, which as I've pointed out, they're not pointing to the right place because I moved them around. So this is snares 1. So let's go like that and save. Call up snares 2. Let me save these so that they work right. So you're watching me do voicing work. This is what I do all day long. Snares 2, save, hats and shakers. So this is a special map which has the hi-hats and shakers, which are just the outtakes. Had more like high-pass filtered hi-hat kind of a vibe to them. So let's save that. And then I need to make one for the hip-hop kit. So let's go hip-hop kit. Let's go like that. And let's save this. So this is save drum. This is the hip. Let's see, B&B hip hop chill kit. And let's say it's going to be categorized as drums, of course. Drum kit, because it's a full drum kit. Save new, save. So I'm got that. Now I need to make a MIDI file. So let's make a MIDI file. The goal is this. I'm going to take Blessed Rains, and I'm going to marry it with this hip hop drum kit playing a groove. Okay, so let's make a groove. And again, I'm going to have a folder with probably over 100 grooves of all sorts of styles for down tempo and chill. So let's make something kind of cool. I like that. So of course we need to be slower. So let's say this would be like 90 or 85 beats per minute. Okay. I'm going to quantize it to 16th notes A, so it has just a little bit of swing to it. Give me a couple more tracks of this. If you hold down Control, Shift, and Return, it lets you make additionals of your existing track, just a duplicate, but it's not a completely different track. It's just an empty track to add to. So I want one for hi-hats. And let me see, what hi-hat do I want? Quantize that. So I have this. Let's do this. I'm going to actually make it a 4-measure groove. And on this one here, I'm going to look at the notes and I'm going to get rid of the crash cymbal. So the crash cymbal only happens once every 8 measures or every 4 measures. Command J to join. And so we have I want this little shaker. Okay, so we have that. Now I'm going to take the whole thing, and this is one of the things I like with Logic, is I'm going to quantize strength it down to about 90%. Maybe 85%, slow it down. Oh, and on that downbeat, I need a kick drum. This kick drum is not playing, so make sure that we quantize so it's right on 1. Otherwise, it will be lost in the MIDI file. I'm going to add a second kick drum over here. And I don't want this up there. So I've modified my pattern so I have it how I want. Command J to join it. Let's go over here to the name tool and we'll name this. This is the Blessed Groove. Blessed Chill 1. So I might actually, we'll call this is back to my full mix. I'll give you guys the whole thing. So I'm going to export this so I can copy this name. And I say export. Export as a MIDI file. Right here. Export selection as a MIDI file. Paste the name. put to the desktop and save. Now I'm going to go through this and maybe I'll get rid of the shaker, get rid of the crash, and I'll get rid of the, and I'll call this a small mix. So I go over here and I rename this to be small mix. So I'm making variations depending on what I want to call up. You might not want the crash symbol and stuff like that for what you're going to be using. So save the section as a MIDI file, paste that name, go to the desktop. Then I'm going to get rid of the hi-hats altogether and say this is just what I call no hats. Actually, just not a hi-hat. Copy. So we go say export this as a MIDI file, paste. Now I say undo. Let's see, can I get that back? And now let's get rid of, let's see, the, where's the snare? Here's the kicks, here's the snare. So we go, this is the no snare version. No snare drum. I like to do this because as a MIDI file, you want to have these as selections for depending what you want to do. So no, save MIDI function as MIDI file. I need to copy the name. I forgot to do that. Command C. Export as a MIDI file. Paste. And then I want to say undo, and it fixes the name, and then it comes back to here, and then we can get rid of the kick. This way you'll be able to take the kick from one groove and use it with something else, right? So you want to have access to all these things. So this is no kick. And nope. Is that message nope? And we say export as a MIDI file. Paste. Undo, undo, undo. So we have, let's do this. Let's have just the snare drum. So we say snare drum. And isn't this exciting? Well, this is part of the deal. You get to watch me do stuff like this too. Undo, undo. Now let's get rid of the snare and call this the bass drum. And export this as a MIDI file with just the name bass drum. And then undo, undo, undo. Where's my hi-hats? And just say hats. Or what I do is I call these breakdowns usually. So anything that's like high energy. In fact, what I could do is let's take the full mix, bring it back in, and let's get rid of the kick and snare and call this a breakdown. Oh wait, redo. So here's the breakdown. So we go this breakdown. And then I can export this as a MIDI file. Paste. So I have made all of these MIDI files, as you can see right here. And then I go over to the UNIFY black and blue MIDI files and to drum kit. And this is the, we'll call this, make sure that we know that this is for the B&B hip hop chill kit. And what I'll probably do is I'll put at the beginning here drum. And it's the B&B hip hop chill kit. Then I don't need drum here. So these will be organized. Copy all of these into here. Okay. So I have made all these MIDI files and I have saved each variation. That way you will be able to when I have 30 different grooves and you have the kick and the snare and all this stuff, you'll be able to easily choose one of those layers and mix and match to create all sorts of, I want maximum flexibility. So let's open this up. Now, just to be simple, because I could add other parts to this, but let's just keep it kind of simple. So we go to the Black and Blue library. Let's go to Blessed Rains. We say we need to add a new empty layer. I'm going to go to the Guru sampler and call up the Beast kit because it has velocity to the filter, stuff like that. We can go to, not this kit though, we want to go to Black and Blue hip hop drum kit, select the hip hop drum kit. So that's set. Now we need to go to MIDI effects, add a new MIDI effect, and choose this to be MIDI box. And that's where I'm going to load the MIDI file. I'm going to call this my hip hop groove or my chill groove for this one. MIDI. Got my MIDIs right here. And that way when I go right here and click, I see MIDI as a choice right here. That connects this layer to that MIDI effect. So now I have to do, make sure you can see this because I think I might have had my window not showing this. Yeah, sorry. Let me lower this. I have a MIDI effect that I've added right here. So now at this point, I can say MIDI file. I can go to the libraries, Black and Blue, MIDI files, to the drum, and here they are. I have that first hip hop groove. I could load that. Right? But instead of that one, I want to load the chill full mix. So that's playing now, so I can. And so what I might do, we still have some work to do. It's not quite working right, but I'll make this turn into a latch so you can play like low C and it will take off. Playing this groove, maybe there'll be a little cadence you can have along with it. And then we'll add one more layer. Let's say we want to go Guru sampler, maybe pad like Battleborn. I'm going to right click to say I want this one to be here. And I'm going to go to the lower notes for these two other pads. So I have an area of the keyboard that, as you can see, this lighter area means that these two layers play here. And then open this up. A little more resonance. And then let's get this to rumble a little bit more. So a favorite effect that I love to use for that is under EQ, go to loudness. And maybe before loudness, add a little EQ from Flex. So let's go over here to Flex EQ. Set this to be about 70 or 80. And then put this before the loudness. So it's going to amplify the low end and then loudness will purify it because loudness is a purifier of low end. And maybe for up here, maybe instead of open, I want to use one of the taped. But let's use the big black one because that's the bigger of the two tongue drums that I sampled. Let's say maybe. And then let's have, we don't need a filter on this per se, so let's replace this with like some sort of nice reverb. And I want my bass. I'm going to move the sample start a little later. Oh, hello. That's what we want. And maybe on top of this, this is one of these libraries where there's a set of patches that were included with UNIFY, but not really made a big deal of, but I think they're going to come in really handy now. Let's see. Let's bypass these. We might not need these, but NATO created all of these really cool in the bonus folder. Let's open the filter up. In the bonus folder, there's all the Airwave patches. The NATO made all these. And then if we get, let's see, go away and play. And then on top of this, because everything does this, we need to get a little on that pad. Let's go dynamics, pump house. Now, on top of this, let's have some fun. I only have one of these at the moment, MIDI effect wise, but I will make more of these. Let's say new MIDI effect, and I'm gonna have it call up. I know I want to use MIDI box, and then I want it to go right into Jitterbox. I'm gonna do a thing similar to what I did on the there's another one I played at the beginning that had that stuff going on with the timing all messed up a little. So let's say empty layer. I'm gonna go over and just, let's say we need this to be the Guru sampler. Let's go to black and blue to the drum hits, and this is where we can get to this. And we can have it so that when we hit play, right? So I'm gonna connect this to MIDI effect 2. This is gonna be my snare hits. Okay, now I need to open up MIDI box here, say MIDI files, libraries, black and blue, MIDI files, 2 and 4. Get timing better. So I have this cool percussive-y little thingy now. And to uniquely make it cool, let's go here to the filter. We can solo this. Okay. Let's put it through its own cool reverb. Let's go to Clang Falter. Give it a cool like convolution reverb vibe. Or we could go creative. Let's go creative. See one of these bags. Ooh, I like that. And I want less of the original and just of the effect. That's a cool vibe. I would high pass filter it maybe. Louder. Shape it. Maybe find a different preset that might not be the right one. But you see where we can go, right? There's so many places we can go now that are just really cool. So let me hit save by holding down Option and clicking in that Updates Blessed Rains. And I'll keep working on this. I've only got like 28 more to make, right? So does that hopefully get you guys inspired with some of the new things we can do in UNIFY that we couldn't do before this update? You can, it's just really cool. Now for this, I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna move I'm at the beginning later. Cool. Cool. So I hope you see this. I get goose pimples thinking of how much this is just, you know, it's one of those things where I get to be selfish and say, I want this, I want this, I want this. And then I explain to Shane, and then Shane codes it, sends it back. We interact and get it to where it works the way we want it to work in the keyboard. And it becomes something that's these things that we can now play with and get. I can get these things that I want and now share them with you. So it just is the coolest. This is what I dreamed about with UNIFY when we did UNIFY, when we talked about building it, making it something that people could play with and just get this out of the box, let people play. I've worked on so many synthesizers and I have programmed so many patches. I know what parameters I like and that I think are unique and that are missing. And some of them are new parameters that don't exist anywhere. Like I don't know of a jitterbox where you can do that kind of stuff. I could take this, and if I want to make this a little bit more broken, I could just hit play, right? We don't have triggering of the MIDI files yet, but check this out. Take this groove, let's humanize it. So we go to Creative, add Jitterbox. Hear how it's making the groove human? Give the guy like 35 milliseconds of play, so he's human, right? And I need to turn everything down because it's a little hot. So hold down Option, bring this down like probably about 6 dB. So that's a pretty darn good start. I like that. Yes, skin colors is definitely something we will do for fun in the future so that it's not all just green. We just have to, there's an awful lot of components here, so it's a lot of work for Shane to group them up so that when you change instrument layer, it will modify all the things you see here that equal the instrument layer, right? But yeah, we've talked about that being something that would be fun to do. So we will definitely do fun things like that. Right now, we've been focused on, in the last 2 months, so yesterday was UNIFY's 2-month birthday. Isn't that cool? 2 months old yesterday. Exactly. Will, MIM skins can come after all the important things that have to do with making music. I would agree. But skins are fun. People like to play with skins. I'm using a new microphone, by the way. I bought a pair of these Rode NT55s that are just super dynamic, pick up everything really nicely. It's smaller. I can see more of my screen without this. I love this. It's a very big cardioid AKG microphone. I have a pair of these too. So I have a matching pair of AKGs and a matching pair of the Rhodes. A good friend of mine that does sound design for like all the big film trailers, Robert Dudzik, recommended me to get these, and I found them secondhand. By the way, if you guys need to get gear, eBay is a great place. These are like B stock, but they came like in plastic and they're great. I'm really happy with them. So half the price of buying them new, which is really great. I just got a lens for my camera for improving my visuals for some things I want to be doing. And I found it secondhand through eBay in Japan, and they shipped it in 3 days. It got here. So it was crazy. But so yeah, there's a new mic being used, which I like. It seems like good. Any other questions? We're about ready to wrap up. if we wanted to add a motif to this little groove, right? I'll show you something fun. Let's do one more instrument layer. I'm just gonna sequence really quickly. You got to decide what key you want to play in. We might make a transpose, but right now there's no transpose on the MIDI file, so it just is gonna play. TXA 16 someday. That's something I definitely will do. Match sound feature. Oh. So let's just have that. Just a little nice motif. Okay. So all I need to do is say, this is melody. The blessed motif. What the heck? Keep on this theme. So I have a key command I can use to save as a MIDI files, paste, save. So that shows up here. I'll just do it from here. So we have the snare, so we need to say new MIDI effect layer. We'll call this the blessed motif. B-L is a motif. Melody. Yeah, just blessed motif, that's fine. So that way I can go down to this empty layer and say blessed motif. And let's add a MIDI box. And let's say load this motif. And so now when I hit play, if I turn off mute, oh. That's not quite what I played. Well, it's cute. It's actually nice because it doesn't have any melody, major or minor. We have the whole key range, so let's do this. Let's go over here, change it to be Guru Sampler. Let's say black and blue. Have it be one of the tongue drum hits. Oh, now it's playing right. Let's see if you can play right now. And I want to fix jitterbox. It's a little bit too loose on my drummer. It's so fun, guys. So this opens up all sorts of doors to take little ideas that you come up with, put them into UNIFY, so now you have something you can play with. Really exciting. So March MIDI madness. It is a reality. Yeah, we can't do Tyrell. That's a free synth that is dedicated to a magazine. We don't need more new synths, guys. We're good. We're set on synths. We have wonderful instruments that can give us all sorts of beautiful colors. If there's any new synths that will be added, they will probably be synths that we make. Because our plan is in the future to make synthesizers in UNIFY and all sorts of stuff as well. We want to get a little bit more solid on compatibility with plugins and stability and stuff like that, but we're getting there. But, you know, our dreams are about new things. This is just the start of new things. This is like baby steps that we're adding to our foundation, but we have crazy plans for UNIFY. And so just Come along for the ride and enjoy it. The thing is something like Tyrell, that already exists. Just go download it for free. It doesn't need to be built into UNIFY because you can download it and use it. So go for it, Regarding the free synths, what happens if the owner rescinds the rights to use? We have gotten permission to use, and we've got permissions in written to update. We're working on that. There's a couple other ones on the list that we need to just make sure that everything is clear. But these are synthesizers that have been around for 20 years. So I don't think that's an issue. We're in the process of making sure that we have everything good with everybody. Everybody's happy, so that's not a problem. We have written permission. Yeah. So thank you so much to everybody. Let's do our shout outs from wherever you are in the world. Shout out from Gray Skies in Portland, Oregon. Thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed your little hangout here on Sunday. I'm just surprised that there are as many of you here as there are on a Sunday. That's really awesome. Jason, he's working on some cool stuff, so keep your eyes open for Rocky Mountain sounds in Calgary, East Side's in Essex. Norway for Ivar, of course. Frank in Germany. By the way, I'm going to just give another shout out to Frank. He's got a really cool library for UNIFY available right now from Particular Sounds. Or is it Particle Sounds? Sounds. I think Sounds Motion. Synth Motions for UNIFY from Particular. They are Particular Sounds. So this is available now. It is a really cool library if you want new sounds. You don't need any other synthesizer plugins. So this is a library that's got really cool samples and patches and art presets and so forth for UNIFY available right now today. Coming out in the coming week or two. We hope to release. Oh, let me make sure I options click to save this because I like now with this little melody. I think it's kind of fun. We'll have the ability to have like melodies. It's really easy to do something like check this out. So let's go to the knobs and let's have this called the motif sound motif volume. Oh, I can't spell, sorry. And let's go here to the linked parameters and we say part 7 is the motif mix level, and all the way down, and then right here we'll get a little bit louder than that if we want. So that way I can play this without the melody and control its volume. I don't have anything else set up, but now I can be any key. Then when I'm ready, bring in the melody. So that is being able to compose and control the mix of different things. I could go over here and say, have this one be set to the drum volumes. So I could say instrument. I don't have these names, but this is my drum groove, right? Yes, I think so. My drums are where? Yeah, 6. So say drum volume. I think that's the claps. Let me see here. I have the. Let's see where the. I want to make sure I know where the drums are. This is the claps. And the drums right here on 3. So we go over here to macro 3. I need to name my layers. I haven't named it. So the drum kit mix level. I have that so you can turn it all the way down and bring it up if you want to here. And by doing that, what's kind of cool is I can also go to this one and say linked parameters, go to part instrument number 6. This is the claps. So we can bring his claps down or so forth like this. So now I have motif. Here's the drum kit volume, and here's the claps volume. So now as I play this, I'll be able to have like so I can play the mix now. Now I have the melody playing. Get out a little bit. So it just opens up so many fun doors to have all of this in one box. That's UNIFY. It's a place to play with your plugins in really cool ways. So thank you for watching. Yes, it's a songwriting tool. You can do all sorts of cool things. Are the MIDI files saved in UNIFY? It's a path. We're saving the path so that you can have them all over your hard drives, and the MIDI files will be loaded when they are needed. And yeah, mad props to Shane. He keeps doing these really cool things and writing the code to get these cool features into UNIFY. I can't write the code, so it's Shane that actually takes what is requested and turns it into something, and then we work it into being something that has personalities from both of us, which is really exciting. So thank you all. I got to get to work. There's a lot of work to do. And we'll see you next week, okay? So be well. Take care of each other. Happy week. See you later.